Hi Libra, welcome to your May 2019 astrology and tarot reading. Welcome back to my channel if you're a regular subscriber here, and if you're new, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. So Libra, Taurus season is it's quite abundant for 8th house energy. So we've gone from Aries season. We'll still have Venus in Aries up until the 15th of May. This bodes well for your partnerships. It sort of gives you that contrast, that balance, that opposition energy whereby the consequences of selfishness come to the fore and are counteracted with selflessness, and the concepts of partnership become the main theme. So what it is that you need in a partnership, what you give, what you get, what your relationships have been like so far in terms of equality. And chances are, if there's some kind of imbalance, if there's some kind of lack in terms of what you're giving and getting, things aren't entirely they're not fitting your Libra scales as well as they could be. The 8th house energy can cause eruptions of jealousy, of suspicion. If you have trust issues as a Libra person, this could be a bit of a tricky season. But therein lies an opportunity to get to the bottom of where those come from, what they mean to you. Trust issues can come in many forms. It can be with the people that you love. It can be with the people you do business with. It can be with yourself. That's deep. Not everybody trusts themselves. And I actually think sometimes people confuse the trust of others for trust of themselves, because if you've betrayed your own trust, if you've gone against your own judgment in the past and the consequences have been quite dire for whatever reason, your trust issue can very much be with who you are and your own sound judgment and reasoning. You might second guess yourself a bit more, but this season, as always with astrology, the energies present opportunity. So with the new moon in Taurus on the 4th of May, you can start afresh with how you want to feel in terms of your trust, your security, because Taurus is a sign that thrives in security, the way that you operate in your relationships and what you expect. Now, there will be a Mercury-Uranus conjunction on the 8th, and the conjunctions with Uranus tend to make some kind of change. We noticed that on the 22nd of April, the Sun conjunct Uranus gave a lot of people different change in their life. It switched up different areas for you. It could still be affecting your relationship sector depending on what degree you are in Libra. But for the most part, this month is going to give you a chance to really figure out what's going on there. So if a relationship is suffering because of trust issues, or you're feeling as though maybe you don't even trust the process, maybe you don't trust the universe, maybe you don't believe that things are going to work out for you. 8th house energy is very good at examining. It's very forensic. It is the Scorpio house. So you might be feeling slightly more Scorpiophonic, whereby contrast, Scorpios this month may be feeling a little bit more Libra. So you will have more empathy with your Scorpio peers this month because of the feelings that you are engaging with. When the Sun moves into Gemini on the 21st, though, you will notice a really lovely shift in the energy to being more lighthearted and more analytical in a rational way, in an objective way, in a detached way, rather than going all in and really feeling the feels, because 8th house energy is feeling the feels for you guys that you won't have experienced probably not since last Virgo season, but we'll see what comes up in the cards for you, Libra. The Sun, the new moon, Mercury, Venus, your ruler, all go into Taurus. And Taurus is a comfortable energy in many ways because you both share the same ruler, but at the same time it is that little bit more in depth for you. It will make you ask the questions that you need to ask. Taurus people in your life probably make you ask questions that you need to ask, Libra. Or they make you look at things a bit deeper, or they unearth things in you, pardon the pun, unearth. They unearth things in you that you maybe didn't know. Sometimes Taurus and Libra people, they kind of know each other better than the other one knows themselves, I've noticed. Yeah, your trust issues are right at the front. They begin this reading. The Five of Swords is a very untrusting card. And we know that it's untrusting because he is taking all the swords for himself before they can. He is the victor here. He's making sure that he has everything to protect himself. And it's excessive. Trust issues oftentimes push you to be excessive. Suspicion pushes you to be excessive. And here we have way too many swords for the one guy. But the reason he wants them all is to outsmart his opposition so that they're weak and vulnerable. It can go either ways. Somebody may not trust you. You may not trust somebody else. And here's you. Right in the middle. Queen of Swords. Alone by her own choice. Her sword in the air to protect herself from whoever challenges her throne. And it must be heavy, that sword. Holding it upright. It must be heavy. So she's not doing it for lighthearted reasons. We have a lot of swords energy, Libra. You really do. And it's funny. I love it when the housing placements match the numbers. This is the 8. So we're talking about the 8th house. Feeling restricted, feeling trapped, feeling blind. She's not objective, that's for sure. She's very much where she is and she can't see any other options. She can't see past it. She feels restricted. She feels as though she cannot be released. And fear is a very restrictive thing. And the challenge is holding on to it so tightly. And the outcome is death. With the 2 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Empress. Again, the Taurus energy comes up. Page of Swords underneath. Okay. Don't fear the Death card because it's not always what it seems. Well, it is always what it seems, but it's not necessarily the narrative that you put on it. It is change. It is an ending of something. But what if I told you it was the ending of a bad thing? An ending of a bad cycle, an ending of a bad thought pattern. And you know what it is? It's the ending of imbalance. Here the Death card is beside the 2 of Pentacles, and then beside him we have a King of Pentacles and an Empress, which suggests people who are very fruitful, who are very giving, who are very generous, who are very loving, and who are very honest. They are the antithesis of Taurian energy at its best. So we all have experiences with people in our lives that are negative. And if you're into astrology, there is this kind of prejudice that comes after that, where you determine each person that has that sign as being a problem if you're very narrow-minded. And I mean that sincerely, because a lot of people do comment saying, if I say, for example, that a Capricorn is well aspected in this reading, people will say, nope, been with a Capricorn, they were horrible, wouldn't, whatever. And it's frustrating. And I'm not going to argue with people on that, but you cannot prejudge somebody because they have the same star sign as somebody that hurt you. So if you don't like Taurus people, and I'm saying that the energy is well aspected, just consider people's birth charts are so unique that the one sign is not a one glove fits all. So the King of Pentacles and the Empress means that Taurus season is going to restore the balance. It is going to restore you with more Pentacle energy that you've been lacking, because we have the Pentacle energy here in the challenge, which means that you're not feeling secure, you're not feeling settled. And then in the outcome we have the Death card signaling an end to that imbalance, an end to holding on too tightly, an end to feeling a tightness in your chest, an end to feeling restricted, an end to feeling overwhelmed. And here we have the 2 of Pentacles, which, although it's not a Libra card, it has that yin and yang energy, that counteracting energy that I was talking about with Venus. And here we have Venus here as well. So when Venus goes into Taurus, you will have learned a lesson by then. You will have seen things differently by then. And Venus goes into Taurus, I think it's the 2nd week of May. Don't quote me. I'm improvising here without my notes for once. The Death card signifies also the Scorpio full moon in your 2nd house. Here we have the number 2. Scorpio full moon in the 2nd house. again, the house of security for you, the house of worth, the house of value. So with Scorpio energy, as I said, you'll be feeling more Scorpiophonic. All the 8th house energy in the air for you, and then this Scorpio full moon, it could illuminate your darker side. It could illuminate your shadow side. And it's so great when people meet their shadow, because the shadow cannot exist without the light. So we have that balance first and foremost. The light is what casts the shadow. And the shadow does what you tell it to. The shadow will always dance with you. It's not like the Peter Pan movie where the shadow breaks away and starts doing these strange dances. The shadow will always dance with you. It'll always do what you tell it. Bear that in mind. So you get a relationship with your shadow here that makes you more stable, that makes you more secure. Once you've sort of looked at it, once you sort of examined it, and you say, it's part of being human. I'm okay to feel insecure about this. You know, for a lot of you, it could be work, because the pentacles can represent work rather than specific relationships or earth signs. But you've got a very strong, meeting with your fear this month. And that's not to say that the whole month is that way. You know, the moon is in each sign for about 2 days or whatever. As I'm filming this, we are in the dark of the moon, you know, just before the new moon in Taurus. And it's probably, as far as moons go, it's the time where I feel the most emotional. You know, people feel very emotional maybe at the full moon. For me, it's the dark before the new moon. I don't like it. I don't vibe with it at all. And that is where I think your darkness lies, is in that little bit before the moon is new. So when we get to the full moon, you've sort of done this really, really, really strong progression where you've let a part of you experience these dark thoughts, and you've kind of let it die off a little, because you know that you're trapped in your own head with regards to something suspicious, something fearful. And what's so beautiful about your outcome cards is that the change results in something lovely, because the King of Pentacles and the Empress are kind of these really beautiful pairing where you get the yellow of the sky, you get the grapes, the fruit surrounding the king, the trees, and the water surrounding the Empress. It's like this lovely harvest, and you're kind of seeing all this lovely stuff coming through, and that's what balances out the darkness. So when the sun is in Taurus and we have all this 8th house energy, if you can just go in and see what's going on, you might find that there's actually more to trust than you realize. There's better things going on than you thought. Perhaps, as I can sort of see from your cards, a lot of your fear came from an old problem, an old experience, and something that you're holding on to. And it's very, very, very common as well, Libra, that when you've experienced a trauma or a situation where you were the victim and everything, people can very often try and label themselves with that identity. You know, I'm the victim of this type of situation, or I was in this really harmful relationship. And you kind of you can make it part of your narrative, and it's a very dangerous narrative to have, just in the sense that you will sell yourself short, or you will put yourself into fear-based positions and fear-based decisions a lot, and it's not really fair on you to hold on to something that no longer serves you. And the Aries season wants you to be your own hero and things like that, but for you guys, it's a lot to do with partnerships. And we go into Taurus season and you desperately want this security, but you feel kind of insecure. So what I will say to you is that when you've gone through that little process, when you've had that moment of fear, when you've had that moment of suspicion, of the consequences of past decisions, the consequences of past relationships, and we see the King of Pentacles and the Empress, it means that things are going to be okay. You know, Taurus season is going to serve you. It's going to cut off something that didn't work for you. And I'm not saying that's a person. I'm saying, to be honest, Libra, it is a suspicious mind, a fear-based mind. Because it's funny, even though it's a Taurus card as well, the Empress can represent Libra. Because it's Venus. So it can be you. And I think there's sort of been a dance with Libras and Earth signs for a while. If you are with an Earth sign and you're dealing with trust issues, or you're feeling turbulent, or you're feeling unhappy, or you're dealing with a King of Pentacles personality, which is someone who's very honest, hardworking, career focused, but also loyal, but also giving, things are going to work out okay, in my opinion. From the cards, I think a lot of Libras are going to find that really lovely security after feeling as though you're walking on a tightrope with things. Be careful with your words, Libra. I do kind of feel that if you have really bad trust issues, just looking at these here, your thoughts may manifest reasons to feel this way. You know, they do say if you are suspicious or whatever, you can go find anything. You can always find something that makes you feel whatever. And even if you don't find something and you still feel that way, you will continue to feel that way. Just bear in mind you could manifest something that you don't want if you do. And I don't think you should, because King of Pentacles, Empress energy, really very lovely. I know that people see threes a lot of the time and they think, no, that means somebody else. Obviously each person's situation is completely different, but the Empress doesn't always mean something like that. The Empress is a very positive, abundant card. More often she would represent a pregnancy between two people, because it takes two to get pregnant, obviously. But oftentimes it just represents you, the person, and something like a gift, like something that makes you guys connect, an experience, or something like that. Oh, the frog. Nice. I've not seen this before. The frog and the tiger. Ooh. Now that is an odd pair. The frog and the tiger. Now, because I'm still learning these, I'm going to draw from the book. So, the frog represents clearing, cleansing, and healing, which makes so much sense. Now, the frog is water, okay? The frog and water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. Okay. That makes so much sense. It's that little miniature death energy, that rebirth, that cleansing. That recovering after a certain way of living. Because if you think about it, the death card is kind of that transformation. Because in tarot, there's no real such thing as finality. You know, death represents moving on to the next chapter. So in context, the frog becoming a frog after being a tadpole is kind of like a mini death, right? It is that transformation. It is that great change into something different. So that's you coming out of your emotions and coming back to land, you know, because death is water energy, and then we have the earth energy. So that makes sense. The tiger, lunar force, ease and darkness, feminine energy. So going into the dark, as we talked about the shadow and the Scorpio full moon, this is very appropriate because he has a little moon on him there. I don't know if you can see that. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirit. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. So as I said, Libra, don't be afraid of your shadow side, because in truth, like the tiger hunting in the night, you'll find something there, something that serves you. And I think it looks like something that frees you to be who you were before you went into this fear-based moment. So I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. I will see you in the next set. I love you all very much. Take care. Bye.